O.J. Simpson is one of the most infamous names in sports history. He went from becoming one of the best players in NFL history to America's most wanted person and the center figure in the trial of the century. Regarded as one of the greatest running backs of all time, his professional success was overshadowed by his trial and controversial acquittal for the murders of his former wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Goldman in 1994. Simpson was born in 1947 in San Francisco to his parents, Eunice and Jimmy, and had two sisters and a brother. His real name is Orenthal, but he was always called O.J., and he didn't even know that until his teacher read that name at school. In his early teenage years, Simpson joined a street gang called the Persian Warriors and was briefly incarcerated at the San Francisco Youth Guidance Center. He started playing football at Galileo High School, where he graduated in 1965. Following graduation, Simpson considered joining the Army, but instead he enrolled at City College of San Francisco. He was named to the Junior College All-American team as a running back and won the Prune Bowl, which led to many colleges showing interest in him. In 1967, Simpson transferred to UNC, where he soon became a real star on the football field. Simpson led the nation in rushing both years under coach John McKay. In 1967, he had 1,543 yards and 13 touchdowns, and in 1968, he had 1,880 yards on 383 carries. In 1967's Victory Bell rivalry game between UCLA and USC, the Trojans were down by 6 points in the fourth quarter with under 11 minutes remaining. Simpson's 64-yard touchdown run tied the score, and the extra point provided a 21-20 lead, which was the final score. This was the biggest play in what is regarded as one of the greatest football games of the 20th century. Simpson also won the Walter Camp Award in 1967, was a two-time unanimous All-American, and won the national title with the Trojans the same year. As a senior in 1968, Simpson rushed for 1,709 yards and 22 touchdowns in the regular season, earning the Heisman Trophy, the Maxwell Award, and the Walter Camp Award. He held the record for the Heisman's largest margin of victory for 51 years, defeating runner-up Leroy Keys by 1,650 points. Simpson was selected with the first overall pick at the 1968 NFL Draft by the Buffalo Bills. He signed the biggest contract in sports history at the time, worth $650,000 for 4 years. However, he had a slow start to his pro career, averaging only 622 yards per season in his first 3 years. In 1972, Simpson rushed for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, gaining a league-leading total of 251 yards. In 1973, Simpson became the first player to break the highly coveted 2,000-yard rushing mark, with 2,003 total rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, winning the NFL MVP award. Simpson gained over 1,000 rushing yards in the next 3 seasons. He did not lead the league in rushing in 1974, but he did cross the 1,000-yard barrier despite a knee injury. In Game 11 of 1974, he passed Ken Willard as the rushing leader among active players, a position he maintained until his retirement more than 5 seasons later. Simpson also made his first and only playoff appearance during the 1974 season. In a divisional game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Simpson rushed for 49 yards on 15 attempts and caught a touchdown pass, but the Bills lost the game 32-14. He won the rushing title again in 1975, rushing for 1,117 yards and 16 touchdowns. He also had a career-high 426 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns that season. Simpson again led the league in rushing in 1976, rushing for 1,503 yards and 8 touchdowns. That season, he had his best game of his career, rushing for a then-record 273 yards on 29 attempts and scoring 2 touchdowns in a 27-14 loss to the Detroit Tigers on Thanksgiving. The following season, he played only 7 games. And in 1978, Simpson was traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a series of draft picks. Simpson played in San Francisco for 2 seasons, rushing for 153 yards and 4 touchdowns. His final NFL game was on December 16, 1979, a 31-21 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Simpson finished his career with 11,236 rushing yards, placing him second on the NFL's all-time rushing list when he retired. He was named NFL Player of the Year in 1973 and played in 6 Pro Bowls. He was the only player in NFL history to rush for over 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, and the only player to rush for over 200 yards in 6 different games in his career. From 1972 to 1976, Simpson averaged 1,540 rushing yards per season and 5.1 yards per carry, and he won the NFL rushing title 4 times. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1985, his first year of eligibility. Simpson passed away in 2024 after battling cancer at the age of 76. Regardless of one's perspective, there is no denying the enduring impact of O.J. Simpson on American culture and society.